All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my WWE Saturday night's main event summary on all the matches that took place on the Saturday night's main event card. So in the opener, you seen Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab defeat the WWE Women's Champion Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss in a 6-woman tag team match. Now, honestly, I thought this was a really good 6-woman tag team match opener on Saturday night's main event with Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab defeating Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss. Now, seeing the trio of Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab get the win in their debut as a trio, I think that will go a long way on the blue brand of SmackDown in the women's division, defeating Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss, 3 established women on the women's roster on SmackDown. And this was very smart by the WWE, pairing Michin and B-Fab with Jade Cargill, one of the biggest heels in the women's division today, because those are 2 good wrestlers that just had nothing really to do other than cater in the back. But now you gave them something to do with Jade Cargill. And all 6 of the women had time to shine this 6-woman tag team match. The spots were good. You had a huge missile drop kick that Rhea Ripley actually connected her foot on Michin's jaw. And that was a really good missile drop kick coming off the top rope. And Alexa Bliss, I like the spot where Alexa Bliss hit the double DDT on Michin and B-Fab, setting up for the hot tag, getting Charlotte Flair into the match. And that's where the babyface team got back at the 6-woman tag team match. But Michin also paid her respects to the WWE legend that just got inducted to the Hall of Fame, that being the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, where Michin hit the Styles Clash on Charlotte Flair. And then towards the end of the match, everything was breaking down with all 6 of the women putting their hands on each other, with all hell breaking loose in the match. And Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, former rivals, are actually getting along with each other. We know the bad blood, the history that they shared together on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania, and several World Championship matches. But they were actually getting along. And Jade Cargill took advantage of the early celebration that Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss were having in the middle of the ring. Jade Cargill hit the huge pump kick and then hit her finishing move, Jaded, on Rhea Ripley to pin the WWE Women's World Champion to win the women's 6-man tag team match for her respective team, and send a message to the WWE Women's Champion Rhea Ripley a week ahead of their Clash in Italy championship rematch from WrestleMania 42. So big win for the heels to kick off the show. Next match, you had Sol Ruca defeat Becky Lynch by disqualification. Now, this was the worst match of the night, in my opinion. The match honestly could have been saved for an edition on Monday Night Raw. There was no point in putting that match on Saturday night's main event. And if you want my honest opinion, the match was fun the few minutes it lasted, but the whole point of the match being on Saturday night's main event, and the match being a non-title match, was for Sol Ruca to go over on Becky Lynch to set up a championship rematch for Clash in Italy, possibly. Well, you got your Clash in Italy rematch, but it served no purpose because Sol Ruca wasn't really established as a threat to Becky Lynch's championship reign. And instead of Sol Ruca going over on Becky Lynch, we got the DQ finish with Sol Ruca hitting the Soul Snatcher on Jessica Carr, the referee. But that Becky Lynch pushed her rival referee and Jessica Carr into Sol Ruca while Sol Ruca was on the top rope in mid-motion, hitting the Sol Ruca move. Now, as a heel, booking strategy for a heel, like, this was great for a heel, but what about the WWE Universe? The fans that want to see a good match and a good finish with the babyface going over, earning a title shot. We didn't get that. What was wrong with Becky Lynch truthfully taking the pinfall loss here? It wouldn't have hurt her, honestly. And now you're getting a rematch between Becky Lynch and Sol Ruca for the Women's Intercontinental Championship that will happen this weekend at Clash in Italy. Hopefully, if Sol Ruca is not seriously injured. If she is, let's run Becky Lynch versus Io Sky at the event. Next match, you had Penta defeat Ethan Page to successfully retain his Intercontinental Championship. Now, honestly, Penta's Intercontinental Championship reign has absolutely been outstanding. And check out his latest match. If you guys haven't checked out the latest edition of Raw, check out his latest match, his latest title defense against Javon Evans. They hit it out of the park. But this match, Saturday night, between himself and Ethan Page, in my opinion, was the match of the night. Really good wrestling. The spots were good between Penta and Ethan Page. They got really good in-ring chemistry. Ethan Page hitting, I like the spots where Ethan Page hit a back body drop on Penta. Penta landing back first on the announcer's table. And Penta hitting a high-flying dive on Ethan Page on the outside of the ring. I also like the spot where Penta hit the picture-perfect tornado DDT on Ethan Page flying off the ropes. And then you had the backstabber that Ethan Page hit on Penta off the ropes. And then the finishing sequences of the match were pretty good. You had a picture-perfect Ethan Page code breaker / confidence breaker that he hit on Penta. Got a near fall. Penta hitting the Penta driver on Ethan Page, kicking out at 2.5 was a good spot as well. Ethan Page, as a heel, even tried to unmask Penta off the top rope, with Ethan Page hitting an avalanche off the top rope on Penta, not scoring the victory, but getting a near fall, with Ethan Page getting irate, getting pissed off that he didn't have enough to put away Penta to win the Intercontinental Championship. And then Penta hitting a Mexican Destroyer off the ropes on Ethan Page to pick up the win to successfully retain his Intercontinental Championship. Was an icing on the cake to a really good match with a babyface versus heel. I need to see more Penta versus Ethan Page during Penta's Intercontinental Championship reign. Next match, you had Paige and Brie Bella successfully retain their women's tag team championships against Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Solid tag team match. I mean, it was everything it was supposed to be for a women's tag team championship match, right? With these 4 competitors, in my opinion. Both teams had a lot of double team moves in the match. I like the tag team move of Lash Legend holding Brie Bella in the air, with Nia Jax hitting the huge leg drop off the top rope onto Brie Bella, with Paige breaking up the near fall. Ending the match with Paige hitting a sunset flip on Nia Jax, getting the assist from Brie Bella, with Brie Bella shifting her weight onto Paige and pinning Nia Jax for the 3 count to successfully retain the Women's Tag Team Championships. Nothing else really to add. I mean, solid match, but could have been saved for additional Friday Night SmackDown, the blue brand of SmackDown, if you want my honest opinion. And in the main event, you had Division defeat the Street Profits to successfully retain the World Tag Team Championships. Now, this is a really good tag team match between Division and the Street Profits to close out Saturday night's main event. Really good match, but unfortunately, Logan Paul tore his triceps and now is out for a number of months. And honestly, Division is cursed because Austin Theory is the only member of Division not to get hurt. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, now Logan Paul. Austin Theory is the only guy to ever be a part of the Division, never get put on the sidelines, which is crazy. But now Braun Breaker would actually take over with Austin Theory as the World Tag Team Champions, taking Logan Paul's place to be Austin Theory's tag team partner, if you guys haven't checked out the latest edition of Raw. But this fun tag team match at Saturday night's main event between the Division and the Street Profits, it was really good. Despite the WWE having issues with the tag team division and releasing several teams like the New Day, Motor City Machine Guns, the Wyatt Six, this tag team match actually reminds you how special tag team wrestling could be if the WWE actually prioritizes it in the company. But there were several double team moves that the Vision and the Street Profits hit in the match. I also like Logan Paul and Austin Theory wrestling well as the heels as the tag team match went on. But business picked up in the second half of the match, where Montez Ford got the hot tag from his partner Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford started taking over the match. The spots were really good. I like the springboard lariat shot that Logan Paul hit on Montez Ford. If you guys are some AEW fanboys, that is a buckshot lariat that Hangman Adam Page performs on Wednesday nights on Dynamite. But as I digress, Montez Ford hitting a high-flying corner move, that high-flying spot where he dives over the top rope and takes out his opponents. He took out Logan Paul and Austin Theory on the outside of the ring. And how about Braun Breaker flying out there looking to spear Montez Ford's head off? Montez Ford actually hurtled over Braun Breaker, and then Angelo Dawkins took out Braun Breaker with a huge shoulder tackle, with Braun Breaker flying over the announce tables, over the announce table, and into the announcers' chairs on the outside of the ring. Crazy spot. And actually, that was the best spot in the match. But moments later, Austin Theory and Logan Paul were near seconds away from losing the tag team titles because Angelo Dawkins hit a picture-perfect spine buster, and Montez Ford from the heavens hit a picture-perfect 5-star splash. And Paul Heyman, using his incredible in-ring IQ, put Austin Theory's foot on the bottom rope, and that resulted in a 2.5 count. So at that point, it was a 4-on-2 assault. And Logan Paul used the brass knuckles on the outside of the ring to knock out Montez Ford. He tossed Austin Theory, or he tossed Montez Ford back in the ring to Austin Theory. Of course, that's when Angelo Dawkins took out Logan Paul, and the way Angelo Dawkins landed on Logan Paul, that's how he tore his tricep. But Austin Theory picked up the scraps, pinned Montez Ford for the win, and Division retained the World Tag Team Championship. So Saturday night's main event wasn't the strongest card, but in terms of wrestling, everything outside of the Sol Ruca Becky Lynch match and the Women's Tag Team Championship match was pretty fun in my opinion. But those are my thoughts on the WWE Saturday night's main event card.